Today we're going to be talking about phonological patterning. Okay, so the features of phonological patterning are alliteration, assonance, consonance, onomatopoeia, rhythm, and rhyme, and we're going to talk about each one of these in more detail. Okay, so onomatopoeias are words that resemble the sounds they're used to describe. So these include words like splash, crash, patter, bang, kapow, tap, and crunch. So basically, if it's meant to represent a sound, it's an onomatopoeia. Alliteration is the repetition of consonant sounds at the beginning of a word. So this is a lot more specific than you might think when you think of alliteration. So it has to be a consonant sound and it has to be at the beginning of a word. So the examples that we've got here are Betty bought a bit of bitter butter. So we've got the B sound, consonant sound repeated at the start of several words. And Peter Piper picked a peck of pickled peppers. Assonance is a similar kind of idea, but it's the repetition of vowel sounds in the middle of a word. Okay, so in this extract here we have, and stepping softly with her air of blooded ruin about the glade in a frail agony of grace, she trailed her rags through dust and ashes, circling the dead fire, the charred billets and chalk bones, the little calcined rib cage. The words glade, frail, grace, and trailed all have assonance, so they've all got the A sound in the middle of them. Glade, frail, grace, and trailed. You can hear the A sound. And they help set the chilling mood of the sentence. They tie those words together. It's repeated and emphasized as well at the end of the phrase or the sentence there with rib cage. So the A sound again is repeated. So it ties the whole piece together. It makes it sound cohesive and it makes us focus on those words. Consonance is the repetition of consonant sounds in the middle of a word or a phrase or a sentence. So, for example, the zoo was amazing, especially the lizards and chimpanzees. So here we've got it throughout several words and it doesn't have to be at the start. So this example repeats the Z sound, the Z, drawing the reader's or the listener's attention to the content words in the sentence, and that ties the sentence together as well. Okay, rhythm and rhyme. So alliteration, assonance, and consonance can be used to create rhythm and rhyme in a text as well. So rhythm is a pattern of stressed and unstressed syllables in a phrase. So for example, so here we've got stressed is bolded and the unstressed words or syllables are unbolded. So who is the woman on the phone? You'll have to call her again. Okay, so you can hear where the emphasis is on that, and that emphasis creates the rhythm in the text. Rhyme is when rhythm and consonants or assonance work together to build a pattern. So for example, the cat in the hat sat on the mat. And often you'll find that rhythm goes with that as well. In terms of the effects on text, so these features of phonological patterning can be used in texts to create a whole range of different effects. So they can be used to draw attention to a particular part of a sentence or phrase. If you are discussing this, you need to be specific about what's being drawn attention to. And it needs to be more than, if you just state that the cat in the hat uses phonological patterning. It's not enough just to say, to draw attention to the phrase, the cat in the hat. It's got to be an effect or an idea. So you've got to think outside the box a little bit more than you might think. Phonological patterning can also be used to create auditory patterns in poems and literary texts for a whole different range of reasons. So in poems and some literary texts, there might be so that it fits a particular text type, for example, like in a sonnet. It can be used to create wordplay, such as puns, and it can be they can be used to make other literary devices like metaphors more noticeable in a text and help to achieve particular functions or social purposes through that. Okay, so what we're going to do now is listen to the Gruffalo. So this is a picture book. And I want you to try and look out for different features of phonological patterning that have been used within this text.
The Gruffalo by Gina Donaldson. Illustrated by Axel Scheffler. And read by Alan Randell.
A mouse took a stroll through the deep, dark wood. A fox saw the mouse, and the mouse looked good.
Where are you going to, little brown mouse? Come and have lunch in my underground house.
Oh, it's terribly kind of you, Fox, but no.
I'm going to have lunch with a Gruffalo.
A Gruffalo? What's a Gruffalo?
A Gruffalo?
Why? Didn't you know?
He has terrible tusks and terrible claws and terrible teeth in his terrible jaws.
And where are you meeting him?
Here, by these rocks. And his favourite food is roasted fox.
Roasted fox? I'm off,
Fox said.
Goodbye, little mouse.
And away he sped. Silly old fox doesn't he know there's no such thing as a Gruffalo? On went the mouse through the deep, dark wood. An owl saw the mouse, and the mouse looked good. Where are you going to, little brown mouse? Come and have tea in my treetop house. Oh, it's terribly kind of you, owl, but no. I'm going to have tea with a Gruffalo. A Gruffalo? What's a Gruffalo? A Gruffalo? Why? Didn't you know? He has knobbly knees and turned out toes, and a poisonous wart at the end of his nose. Where are you eating him? Here, by this stream. And his favourite food is our ice cream. Oh, ice cream! Goodbye, little mouse. And away owl flew. The old owl doesn't he know there's no such thing as a Gruffalo? On went the mouse through the deep, dark wood. A snake saw the mouse, and the mouse looked good. So where are you going to, little brown mouse? Come for a feast in my log-pile house. Oh, it's terribly kind of you, snake, but no. I'm having a feast with a Gruffalo. What's a Gruffalo? A Gruffalo? Why? Didn't you know? His eyes are orange, his tongue is black. He has purple prickles all over his back. And where are you eating him? Here, by this lake. And his favourite food is scrambled snake. Scrambled snake! It's time I eat. Goodbye, little mouse. And away snake slid. Silly old snake. Doesn't he know? There's no such thing as a Gruffalo. Oh! But who is this creature with terrible claws and terrible teeth in his terrible jaws? He has knobbly knees and turned out toes, and a poisonous wart at the end of his nose. His eyes are orange and his tongue is black. He has purple prickles all over his back. Oh, help! Oh, no! It's a Gruffalo! My favourite food, the Gruffalo said. You'll taste good on a slice of bread. Good? said the mouse. Don't call me good. I'm the scariest creature in this wood. Just walk behind me and soon you'll see everyone is afraid of me. All right, said the Gruffalo, bursting with laughter. You go ahead, and I'll follow after. They walked and walked till the Gruffalo said, I hear a hiss in the leaves ahead. It's Snake, said the mouse. Why, Snake, hello? Snake took one look at the Gruffalo. Crumbs, he said. Goodbye, little mouse. And off he slid to his log pile house. You see, said the mouse. I told you so. Amazing, said the Gruffalo. They walked some more till the Gruffalo said, I hear a hoot in the trees ahead. Oh, it's Owl, said the mouse. Why, Owl, hello. Owl took one look at the Gruffalo. Oh dear, he said. Goodbye, little mouse. And off he flew to his tree-top house. You see, said the mouse. I told you so. Astounding, said the Gruffalo. They walked some more till the Gruffalo said, I can hear feet on the back ahead. It's Fox, said the mouse. Why, Fox? Hello. Fox took one look at the Gruffalo. Oh, help, he said. Goodbye, little mouse. And off he ran to his underground house. Well, Gruffalo, said the mouse. You see, everyone is afraid of me. But now my tummy's beginning to rumble. My favourite food is Gruffalo crumble. Gruffalo crumble,
the Gruffalo said.
And quick as the wind he turned and fled. All was quiet in the deep dark wood. The mouse found a nut, and the nut was good.
Okay, so hopefully you could find quite a few examples of phonological patterning in that video. I would strongly suggest maybe going through it and writing down a few examples of each of the features of phonological patterning that we've gone over in this video from the Gruffalo, and just adding those into your notes. And to finish off with, I'd like you to have a go at doing this with a picture book of your own. So find a picture book, find as many features of phonological patterning as you can in that, and maybe write an analytical paragraph which discusses the use of phonological patterning in that text. If you don't have a picture book handy, you can easily find some online, or you could also use a poem for this task as well.